put that behind us. It's not black and white anymore, but Alabama voters have another character flaw that you need to help me address. They've gotten in the habit of voting for Republicans. I'm more concerned about how you win the general election. Not because you're black, but because you're Democratic. Tell me how we beat the Republicans in November. Tell me how you beat the Republicans.
It's exactly the right question. Let me answer. How do we, for those who couldn't hear, how do we beat the Republicans? How do we reach those people who are just not buying what we have to say about our future? Here's the first thing. I mean, this in all sincerity, we are going to have to make our party hospitable toward voters who frankly reject our national party. Now, that's just being very blunt with you. Obviously, we can't win a national political dynamic. We don't. We haven't won this state for president since Weekly Reader. I was doing the Weekly Reader stuff in Stanley Elementary. So long since we won the state for president. Jimmy Carter, 1976. We cannot win if the national political climate drives an election. We can't win if the playing field is what it is in a national race. So what we have to do is to make a case to a chunk of people out there, about 15 to 20% of the population, who have not voted for a Democrat for president in their lifetime, why they ought to vote for a Democrat for governor. And as part of making that case, to be very blunt with you, we have to work in overtime and overdrive to let people of faith know that they have a home in the Democratic Party. No, I don't say that to question that. Those of us in this room know there's a place for people of faith in the Democratic Party, but we're kind of the converted. We know we are open to people of faith. There are people outside this room and who are outside of our zone of friends who don't know that. I'm tired of people who tell me I can't vote for a Democrat because I think being a Democrat, you know, means that you don't, what's the phrase like use, that you don't have values. Now, we can argue over what values ought to mean. I don't like other people telling me what values ought to be any more than you do, but here's the gist of it. We got to have an answer for those people. We got to be able to say to them on a very basic level that we may not agree with you on every issue under the sun. You know, I happen to believe that a woman has the right to make choices about her reproductive system. I believe that. I think many of you believe that, right? Guess what? Everybody in the state doesn't agree with us. And we can just write off everybody who doesn't agree with us. We can figure out how to talk to them. A whole range of other social issues we argue about. Gay rights, gun control. I'm more conservative than some of you all. I'm not as conservative as the Republicans on some of these issues. But here's the deal. Newsflash, there are a whole lot of folk out there who are real conservative on all that stuff. Do we write them off? Write them off, we might struggle to get anywhere near 50. We've got to figure out, and remember the next few months are going to be hard for us because y'all know what happened last night. David Souter, as I said at the beginning, announced he's resigning. How much y'all bet the Republican Party is going to try to stir up the country along social issue lines in the next 6 months, and they're going to use those social issues as wedge factors? How about you? Y'all believe that's going to be coming? Who is going to be the ranking Republican on the Judiciary Committee? I believe it's Jeff Sessions. And I like Jeff, I just wouldn't put him in that position. I mean, they're going to stir up the social issues. Now, here's going to be where we have to be in the next few months. We've got to figure out how do we make a case to people who don't agree with us on a lot of things. And that's challenging, folks, because we like to look ourselves in the mirror. Let me tell you, it makes my last point. I got actually, believe it or not, Jeff and I are on a panel together after we leave here, so I got to go join him. But here's what I want to leave you with today, very important point. And it's a serious self-critique we have to do. We have a problem on our progressive side, and the Republicans have a problem on their right side. Let me tell you what it is. They tend to say, if you don't agree with us on certain issues, you lack values. But you know what we tend to say sometimes? If you don't agree with us on certain issues, you lack a brain. Or you're just being politically expedient. I tried a case or two in my day as a lawyer, maybe more like 40. I never went to a jury and said, You're bigoted. You're not smart. You're valueless, and you're expedient. Now here's why I want you to give my client a nice chunk of money. That never struck me as the mode of argument, but you know what? That's kind of what sometimes we do and sometimes what our adversaries do. They say that this is wrong with you if you're not with us, and we say something wrong with you. If we are serious about competing to win elections, we had better figure out how to say to people, you have a home in this party, because, ladies and gentlemen, what I find as I move around the state, our people want the same things. They want schools that are good enough that they can send their kids to them. You may have your kids in a private school. Everybody has the right to put their kids any place they want, but there's not a person in this room who doesn't wish that our public schools were good enough to save you the money of a private school. A lot of you have grandparents who are aging now. Medicaid is going to be what takes care of them when they're in the nursing home. You know what a lot of you want? You want to know that Medicaid is going to be a program that's good enough and robust enough to do what's necessary so you don't get financially burdened by it. And I can keep going. Keep on marching. We want the same things. I will run for governor with the proposition that the Democratic Party has a home for all kinds of people in this state. I got to run to Jeff Sessions. God bless you all. Have a good day.